Our Knicks, they made some moves.
Yeah.
They traded Obi Toppin to the Indiana Pacers for 2 future second rounders to create salary cap space to get Dante DiVincenzo, and then Derrick Rose also goes to the Memphis Grizzlies. What are your thoughts about all of the Knicks offseason moves thus far?
It's fine. I think the Knicks offseason moves are fine. I like the Dante DiVincenzo signing. I think he's a good player. I think you can never have enough good two-way players. He can shoot the ball. He can defend. The Knicks, what you're seeing, I think that needs to be talked about with the Knicks in the last couple of years. And Knicks fans aren't used to this. We're seeing patience and competence, guys. That's actually a good thing. You're seeing a culture that players want to be a part of, whether it's the Nova Knicks culture. Yeah, you got Jalen Brunson. Yeah, you got Josh Hart. Yeah, you got Dante DiVincenzo. They all play together, but they like that culture. These are guys are winning players. A guy in DiVincenzo who's won. I think that's good. Essentially, you have to look at this as they traded Obi Toppin for DiVincenzo and 2 second-round picks. I think that's basically the way you have to look at this. I liked Obi Toppin. I was a fan of Obi Toppin. I know there's a segment of Knicks fans that wanted Obi Toppin to play more. I get all that. It wasn't going to happen. And this isn't, I think people look at what happened with Obi as some sort of indictment or slight on the Knicks. I don't think it is. It's just a tough circumstance. They drafted him 8th overall 3 years ago. I've heard from people, the Knicks at the time were looking to move Julius Randle at that time. Julius Randle then goes out and has an all-NBA season, all-star season, and that sort of blocks the playing time for Obi. Then Julius Randle has his second all-NBA and all-star season in 3rd years this past year. Obi wasn't going to play here. This isn't failure by the Knicks. It's just Julius Randle turned into a better player than they imagined. Thibodeau's a fan of him, and it is what it is. He wasn't a big fan of Obi Toppin, and he would have liked more from him defensively, and the two weren't going to play together. It's fine. Would you have liked more than a 2nd-round pick, 2 second-round picks, for the 8th overall pick? Yes, but you weren't going to get that because when the Knicks talked to other teams and teams that were interested in Obi Toppin, they would say, Knicks could say, yo, we love Obi Toppin. We want more of that. We want a 1st-round pick for them. And they're going to be like, yo, but y'all don't play him. If y'all love him so much, why don't you play him? So the Knicks didn't really have much leverage there. I think they got the best they could get for him now. Also should be noted, they get a $6.8 million trade exception. That matters for their flexibility and what they can use down the road or if it's another trade. And I think as Zach Brazilla was telling me, as we were speaking yesterday, don't be surprised if the Knicks are not looking to make another trade to still add a big wing. I'm not sure they're actually done here. So I think that's something to look at. He mentioned OG Anunoby, who I know some Knicks fans have been interested in. I think there could be some other names. The Knicks are in a good spot. Sometimes I think fans want, and I said this before earlier in the show, Alex, they think every team is one deal or one player away. It's not how it works in the NBA. A lot of times it's slow, steady, internal development. That's what you're seeing with the Knicks. We saw RJ, who's widely criticized. 7 of the 11 playoff games for the Knicks, he played pretty good. This team could get better by adding good players that fit the culture, and they have flexibility. There's nobody on the Knicks really that is on a bad contract. These are all tradable contracts. It's another good spot to be in. Their 2 best players, Brunson and Randle, aren't on max deals. Brunson is vastly underpaid right now. He'll get it. He'll get his money. He'll get his money after next summer for sure. No doubt about that. But I think the Knicks are in a good spot, man. I really do. Like, are they championship contention level yet at this point? In my eyes, no. Could they be on the cusp of that? Yes. Let the Knicks play. Let's see how this team plays. They might go into the season with the roster as it is now, and we'll see what it is by the trade deadline. But the DiVincenzo move is a good move to me. As I said, another good player who's a two-way player. You can never have enough of those on your roster. And they have the flexibility to make a trade for the right star when that comes along to pair with Jalen Brunson. I don't think the Knicks have to panic. I love how they're not panicking. I think they're making very smart moves. And let's just hope it stays that way, because this is the most competence we've seen from the Knicks in probably over 2 decades. So I'll take it. I think the moves are fine. I don't know how you feel, Alex, but I was fine with the Dante DiVincenzo move. I think it's the Knicks moves have been fine. It's nobody's jumping for joy, but I think you should be okay with the competence. Competence matters, so you should be okay with that.
Well said, Dexter. And I think the last part is where it is. No one has to jump for joy for this. Like, it's not necessarily like we finally did it, we got the star. I think there should be be happy, content with the Knicks are moving in a slow, progressive manner, just trying to accumulate good players, right? Because CP and I discussed this on Saturday at midnight when we broke this all down. Obi being traded, getting Dante DiVincenzo. It's, you know, you need, when you get more good players, it means other players become expendable. It's like, okay, you want to go make a star, you want to go make a move for a star. Okay, well, you want to make sure you don't lose your depth and you have enough good players that if you do have to trade some good players, you know, you're not just going to be barren of like your war chest, right? So you can trade the draft capital, even though it could be questionable for these protected picks, how they're valued now, just because we see that it just keeps getting kicked down the road. If you're worried about trading someone like Emmanuel Quickly or Quentin Grimes, you know, someone like Dante DiVincenzo gives you that reassurance, like, okay, we're not going to lose that much of a beat because we still have some talent at the wing guard position, whatever you want to call it. I like the Dante DiVincenzo move. For me, it's always just, the question is like fit, playing time. Where does it all come? Because you have a lot of guards. You got Brunson, who you know is going to be locked in for his minutes. You got Grimes. You got Quickly. You got now Dante DiVincenzo. You can throw RJ in there. You got Josh Hart. It's just a lot of players at that position. I'm curious to see how it all works out. I know that RJ and Hart have played small ball 4 for the second units. That's probably going to happen. Maybe Tibbs goes more Jericho and Isaiah Hartenstein. We've seen that before in the past. I'm just curious to see how it all works out with Tom Thibodeau, because I think when I look, it's not just the players, it's also the coach and how does the coach put this puzzle together. I see Tibbs is very like regimented in his thinking and how he like deploys lineups and stuff like that. Not necessarily a lot of free flowing creativity. That's where my hangup is as him as a coach, especially on the offensive side. Defense, we know what we're going to get, even though some of it can just be a little redundant too, like the offense. That's where my thinking is. But if you're looking from like a talent acquisition standpoint, I think it's good. Trading Obi Toppin, I think a lot of it just gets muddied. It just gets muddied here. It's I think fans see that Obi can contribute, right? We see where his strengths are that were not utilized, and he can contribute. No, I don't think many are saying that he's. If there definitely are that say he could be better than Randall and so forth. But I think if you're for most people, it's like he can contribute. You see the qualities. He didn't get an opportunity, as you said. When you have an all NBA player, all-star in front of you, most improved, it's very hard. And I can understand that as a coach, your options could be like, I'm going to play my best player, right? I'm not going to go deviate too far off the line from this. Like, he's good. He's going to play. He showed up. He showed up and showed out. That's it. And Tibbs has his trust for veterans. So with all that said, it's a lock for Randall. And it's for Obi, I think, to take it back even further. Remember, he got injured during I forget if it was preseason or regular season. He played 23 minutes, got injured. Randall starts to get into a groove of being this all NBA type caliber player. Same thing kind of happened this year again, too. Obi gets injured playing against Atlanta. Randall starts to get into a rhythm in December and goes on a tear. So it happens. So it's unfortunate luck. Things need to break right for you in sports in order for you to shine. So nothing but hope Obi has a good career, that he's able to thrive and get the playing time he wants over in Indiana. So nothing with that. Nothing wrong there. But that's my take on the situation.
No,
I think it's a good move. I think it's a good move for the Knicks for all standpoints.
Yeah, no, I think you brought up another good point about the flexibility that they'll have in terms of having a lot more good players and being able to make a trade. And I think it's right for you to question, what's it going to look like with playing time as you add another guard, 6'5" guard to this rotation. I really still keep my eyes on. I think the Knicks are going to be working on trying to make a trade. I don't have any inside information on that, but I do think they know that they need another big wing. Obviously, they don't have a traditional backup power forward right now. So that'll be interesting. But if you look at what's going on with the assets and talent they've acquired, there could be a trade, or it could be at the trade deadline, like I said, that's coming down the road. I just think if you're a Knicks fan, you gotta like the last 2 out of the last 3 years they've been in the playoffs. The culture seems to be very good. Sure, you can question things about the coach. I have some of the same questions you do. You and I have talked about this many times. But I think the culture is good. And that's the first step in becoming a good organization that can compete for championships, is setting the culture. We talked about this at the top of the show with Houston, setting the culture. Are the Knicks doing that? And I think if you're a Knicks fan, you're doing that. Don't give me this, they haven't won since 73. I want a championship tomorrow. That doesn't happen. Nobody turns around from being like the worst team to just winning a championship. We've seen that once with the Boston Celtics with the trades they made. That is an anomaly. That does not happen at all. It's steady and slow, and the Knicks are progressing in the right space. And I think when they're able to make a move that works for them and their culture, they will. But right now, Dante DiVincenzo wanted to be here. The reason he wanted to be here is culture's been pretty good. That stuff matters, guys.
On a cheap
that
deal.
stuff matters. On a cheap deal. Right, on a tradable deal, Alex. That stuff matters. And if the Knicks keep doing that and keep acquiring good players, as you said, when they do have to make a trade, the cupboard's not going to be bare. The cupboard's not going to be bare. You're gonna still have talent, and you're still gonna have some assets to make another move that you need to fill out certain things that you need. So I think the team building is actually going in the right way. Is it the perfect roster? No, it's not right now. But I think team building and development is actually working just fine. And if you're a Knicks fan, I think you just have to be, if you're a rational Knicks fan, because there's irrational fans in every fan base, you got to be happy with that. And I think things are going to be okay. Things are going to be okay.